Okay, I wanted to show you guys something that I do with puppies all the time that I don't really think about, but I realized the other day that this is a super important skill. So every time I sit down on the ground, I want to teach puppies to come lay down next to me. So basically what I do is I stand up, and as the puppy runs over to me, I'm going to let him smell my treat, and I'm going to sit down and lure him down to the ground at the same time. So my goal is that he starts associating that when I sit down, he's supposed to lay down in front of me. Now, as long as he stays here, I like to bonus point this. So I will just kind of continue to reinforce as long as he hangs out in this position. And then feed all of the vultures that are hanging out around me. So I just give him goodies for hanging out here. I might toss a treat to reset him. And then as he runs back over, I just catch his nose and lure him straight down to the ground. Not you. Bindi, go. Bindi. Hello. Yeah, you're here. Come here. You're okay. Go ahead. Nice job. All right. So as he comes back, I just reset him and have him lay back down. Give him some goodies here. Toss the treat again so he runs away. He'll find that eventually. There it is. Good boy. Cyrus. As he runs back over, I catch his nose and just lure him straight down to the ground again. So basically, if I'm sitting on the floor, his job is to lay down in front of me or go do something else. What I don't want him to do is run at me and launch because my face is now at puppy level. So I basically want to teach him to have some polite ground manners. So if I'm on the ground, this is what I'm looking for, is him to hang out right here in front of me. So the two things that I'll do to teach that, three things that I'll do to teach that. One is when I go to sit down, as he comes over, I catch his nose and I sit down and lure him straight into a down position so he doesn't have a chance to get all in my face. The second point is if he hangs out here, I continue to reinforce him. So I continue to give him goodies as long as he hangs out here. And if you can see, I just have a little jar of kibble. This is something that I have just sitting on the counter all the time. So I refill it every day. I know exactly how much food fits in here. And every day I go through this whole jar of kibble. So this holds 1.5 cups. And so when I fill it, I know that if I feed all of this food, that's 1.5 cups of food. So I factor that into how much he eats in a day, and I pay him throughout the day with different little training exercises. So one might be teaching him to go to his mat, one might be doing an exercise like this, one might be teaching him like to loose leash walk around the house. Doesn't really matter. If I get to the end of the day and there's still a bunch of kibble left, like right now, it's pretty late and there's still a good, half a jar full, then I either do some last minute training or I just dump it into a puzzle bowl or a puzzle toy of some sort and let him work through the rest of his food that way. So it's not a big deal if I don't use this, but at least it's available during the day for me to use, if I want to reinforce some good behavior. So I got on a tangent, but point is I'm feeding kibble for this, and this is kibble that he needs to eat today anyway, so it works really easily for training. I see you. And you. Hey. There you go. Ooh, feed everybody. Okay, so my 3 points were, if he's running up to me, as I sit down, I catch his nose, I lure him into a down. Second point was if he stays in a down, I just every so often give him a goodie. And I'm feeding him relatively quickly right now because this is one of the first times we've done this. One of the first times. It's probably the third time we've done this. If he was better at this and I kind of trusted him a little bit more, I would space out those treats a little bit more. And then the third point is every so often reset him so he has to practice running back over and laying down, because a lot of puppies are okay staying in a down as long as you feed them, but it's that approach that's really hard. They see you on the floor, they want to run over and tackle you because you are in the play zone. You're reachable at puppy level. So I want to practice not only maintaining this behavior, I also want to practice what that approach looks like. And I want that approach to look like run at me and lay down. So notice how when I do lure him, I'm catching his nose kind of far away from me, about arm's length. I'm catching his nose and luring him into a down. I'm not letting him jump in my lap before I catch his nose. I'm catching his nose as he's approaching and then getting him into this nice down position in front of me. If I waited, let me reset him. If I waited too long, and he might be good because he's done this a bunch of times now, but if I wait too long and let him get all the way up in my face, this is when puppies are going to be jumpy. This is when puppies are going to be bitey because they're too close. So I like to have a personal bubble, and having a puppy within an inch of my face is not good for my personal bubble. So as he runs over, Cyrus, catch his nose, lure him into a ground about arm's length away from me and feed him there, because that's where I want him hanging out. That's a good distance for me. I can pet him, I can feed him, I can love on him. You can wait your turn, buddy. And I don't feel like he's on top of me or gonna be super mouthy. Notice how I'm not saying down, because I want him just to start doing this automatically. I'm gonna start weaning off of that lure as he gets better. Oh God. And so I don't want him to need me to say the word, nice, to get him to do the thing. That was very good. And eventually I just want it to be automatic. So I'm gonna test it. I don't know if he's at this level yet, but we'll see. I'm just going to sit down on the floor and wait. And we're gonna see what he chooses to do here. What a good boy. That's exactly what I want him to do. Nice job. It's a really good game to play if you have kids in the house too. If your kids are not quite, if your kids are not quite old enough to be able to do this exact game where they are luring, then you can sit next to the kids and they can just be sitting next to you and you can still create this same behavior pattern.